everybody, and welcome to your #1 spot for Turret Talk, roundtable recaps, and drama debriefs. That's right, it's the Traitors official podcast.
We're your hideout for every hunch, every murder, and every masterful manipulation. I'm Boston Rob.
And I'm Bob the Drag Queen. The scheming is not over for us, so we're continuing the chaos right here. And if you're just now getting recruited to our little cabal, welcome to the fold. Fashionably late, but we'll take it. This is where we dissect every scheme, every showdown, and every shocking revelation from TV's most treacherous competition.
And make no mistake about it, we hold absolutely nothing back. So total spoilers from here on out. If you haven't watched, consider this your last chance to escape. And with the finale next week, you better be caught up. We'll also chat fashion in the castle and give our thoughts and predictions for the finale. But for now, let's get into tonight's episode.
All right, baby, I'm hungry. Let's talk breakfast. So Mara and Rob are the first ones to walk in. This is honestly it's a little tough to watch.
I mean, I feel like, they're connected because of their past and their history.
Yeah. They got the Love Island connection going on. But she looks at him and she's just like, I trust you fully.
Right.
It's not looking good for her.
Locked in. And that's the thing, like you bond with somebody in the castle and you might feel like they're your ride or die, but to not ever consider the possibility that that person might be, working on the other side is crazy. So Rob, once again, is first to breakfast, meaning he has to sit through all the tension, and it looks like the lying, it's starting to weigh on his conscience a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like a wounded puppy dog.
He's got a lot of blood on his hands.
Yeah, but come on, bro. You toughed it out this part. Now we're gonna get emotional?
He's got so much blood they can't even see his tattoos anymore. He's covered.
Slitting throats since day one, and now he's like, listen to me, bro. Don't get soft on me.
In fact, let's look at it and see what you guys at home think.
I trust you fully. Like, I'd be in shock if you turned around and said, I'm a traitor. I would probably die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling low this morning. I can feel the weight of all the lying and the scheming.
Stop.
Taking a toll on me.
That's the best part of this show.
It really is.
And I can't help but, genuinely feel bad.
I would never give an interview
Look
like
at her.
this.
She's smiling and cutting locks, and he's over there like,
oh, this is just a person that I like. That I'm, using their feelings and emotions to win this game.
I can't really relate to what he's saying because, truthfully, when I'm in a game like this, I know what my role is.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to have to do. I rectify that with myself before I even get to the castle.
Tara enters, and what's tricking me is that, no one is they're like, of course you're here, you're a traitor. They're all like, yeah, obviously Tara's here, you're a traitor. Who cares? You know what I mean? Johnny walks in, Natalie walks in, and then that's when we find out finally that Kristen was murdered.
It was a smart choice, but it obviously is going to put some heat on Eric, especially from Mark, right? Because Mark was there when Kristen pled her case and said, listen, if I'm not here tomorrow, look at Eric.
If Rob wanted, he could really, really use that.
Yes.
In fact, let's watch Kristen's reaction to finding out that she is cooked.
I'm at peace. I was the most faithful of the faithfuls. I don't think many people doubted that, and I think the traitors knew that. Eric was a little quiet tonight. I pressed him. If he's a traitor, well done.
Murdering Kristen does have potential to put heat on you. But only coming from Mark. I think we can convince him. So, tomorrow...
You see how he gives him just enough information to
Says Rob's so good because he's literally... He's telling Eric exactly what to do, but trying to make it feel like it's Eric's decision.
They're really scared about the dagger because, let's be honest, he did the smartest thing you could. He waited to the last possible moment. Those 2 votes now have basically quadrupled in value.
The advantage of having the dagger wasn't necessarily to use it, but it was to hold it so other people couldn't use it against them.
So let's go into our post-breakfast theories, right? So Tara's big revelation, she wakes up in a cold sweat, and she goes, it's Rob! It's Rob!
I gotta be honest, I watched it, I was like, let's go, Lipinski, you got it!
Right?
And she nails it. She's exactly Correct.
So she goes to a very, very strong player. She goes up to Natalie and she tells her, I think it's Rob. If they're going to take Rob down, they're going to need numbers. He has both the amount of votes they have just by himself.
I agree.
It's time to campaign.
I think Natalie also feels so much heat right now. She's surprised that she's back in the castle, that she wasn't murdered last night, and she knows her days are limited. So she's going to jump on any theory that's not her.
So at this point, most of the people in the house have found both the traitors because Tara, Johnny, Natalie are all onto Rob, and then Mark is on, and Natalie was onto Eric. So they have actually, guys, you did it.
Yeah.
You found all the
Figured it
traitors.
out, but now we got to execute. And Mark actually pulls Rob to talk about it. Let's take a look at what happened.
What about Eric? The last thing that Kristen said to me last night, she was questioning Eric.
Yeah, she told me that too.
She's like, why aren't you speaking up? If I was a traitor and I saw Kristen going around talking about me, I would take Kristen out.
But does that make Eric suspicious? He's quiet most of the time.
No, and I'm not saying it's him. I'm just saying we have to look.
I'm worried that Mark is gonna think that Eric is a traitor, like 100%. I gotta have my boys back. So we need Mark to go for Natalie. The task at hand is to banish Natalie tonight.
I gotta say, I've never met Rob Roush. He must be the most charming person to ever walk Cher's green earth. Because Mark came up to this guy and was like, I figured it out. And then within less than 3 minutes, he was like, no, it's Natalie. And then Mark's like, sorry for ever suggesting otherwise. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yes, sir. May I have another?
I literally apologize. So Tara and Natalie go up to Maura and they're like, we figured it out. We cracked the case. It is Rob. And immediately Maura's like, let me tell you right now, mention my man's name again and I'll fuck you hoes up. Don't ever don't ever talk crazy about my motherfucking man again, okay? In fact, let me go further and say, if he is a traitor, I'm walking out of the castle.
I'm out. I know it doesn't look like it on the surface, but maybe Lipinski and Johnny know what's going on, and they're trying to figure out a way to get to the end with Rob and then banish Rob at the end.
I don't want to sound rude, but you're giving them way too much credit.
Am I?
They want to just do this castle as long as possible. They're already thinking about what they're going to wear to the reunion. You know what I mean? Like, they're strategists like that.
Johnny, Tara, I'm trying. I'm trying for you guys. All right, let's move on to the mission. They all get into the SUVs, they're going to the mission, and you can see clearly there are two distinct camps forming.
And someone needs to recruit someone from the other camp to win this thing. And this challenge is fun. So you're going to be spun around on a carousel, and you must find gold after being dizzied. You have to go find gold inside these stuffed animals, and then you get back, it's going to spin 5 times. But of course, Alan can't just leave it at that.
I like when they didn't tell them that one chair was going to be removed till after.
Yeah, that's
I love
fun.
the look on their face. Like, leave it to Alan to, like, put a little twist in there.
Because people don't know they need to be urgent, they think they're all going to get a chair. The first spin goes, everyone goes around and around and around. Rob does not get back in time, and he has the biggest pot of money, and he is pissed.
He's so mad. He almost told Mark, like, why are you getting on with only $750?
And I think that Mark is actually, in this moment, Mark is actually seeing the real Rob.
Well, he was like, all of a sudden, like, what, bro? Why are you getting mad at me? I got back first.
In fact, let's take a look at it.
You got a 750?
I know, it's the only one I found.
I mean, why are we getting on with 750?
It's not my fault.
But you could have got a different one.
Oh, look at this. Look at
But he came at me a little hard.
Okay, why is this...
overacting.
Yo,
Because he needs a shield, he's saying.
but also, why is this not coming up? Like, y'all, again, apparently Rob is super charming. I don't know the guy. It didn't work on me from TV, but it worked on everyone in the castle.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
You're mad at the game.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to die.
Bro, I get it, man.
This is what is weird for me. Rob has never been upset about not having a shield. And there's this moment of feeling like Rob is acting.
Natalie says it's bad acting.
But it didn't come up at the round table. That's the issue. It didn't come up at the round table. That would have been great fodder for her to light her flames. So the final two are Maura versus Eric. And by the way, I'm impressed with Maura. But then Eric just bested her. He
Eric
found
won.
one before her. In the car, Johnny tells Eric they're going to go in on Rob, and Eric does not handle stress well. I mean,
You can tell Eric was not picked as a traitor from the beginning, and if he was, I don't think he'd have lasted 3 days.
I will say one thing I want to give Johnny. Johnny is smart enough to realize that other people are better at this game than he is. He's not cocky.
It's like a balance. You have to have a little bit of confidence and cockiness to push a certain vote or an agenda in a direction that you want it to be, but not overconfident to the point that you're untouchable, because you never know what will come back around to get you. So this roundtable definitely did not go as planned. I mean, Natalie clearly thought that she had people on her side. She thought she had Tara. She thought she had Johnny. And very quickly after it started, you could see it was all falling apart and she was going to be on her own.
This is the third episode in a row that Tara has started the roundtable, but what tickled me the most, she started it by saying, I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, girl, you could have just not said anything. Starting the roundtable by saying,
That's so true.
I just want to know, I'm going to not say anything. Baby, you could have just not said anything. That looks weird.
But it's also kind of crazy that, like, if you go around the castle all day long and you're pushing an agenda, and then you go in there and you say, listen, I'm basically not saying anything. Everything I said before, it's off. Like,
that should have been a big sign to Natalie.
It should have been a clue.
Rob throws out Natalie's name, and he's kind of like, oh, well, you kind of, changed. I think you got recruited. If I were Natalie, I'd have been like, first of all, I am such a good strategist. I assure you, if I got recruited, I would be treating you the exact same way. I fucking won Survivor. You think I don't know how to play the game?
And I think, like, when she does try to bring up that she thinks Rob might be a traitor, she gets zero support. So now she feels like a fish that's just floundering outside of the water with her gills flapping, and she's getting nothing. And she's looking at Tara, she's looking at Johnny, and she's getting nothing. And you can just see the energy goes out of her. We have a clip of it. Let's watch.
There has been a shift in you, and I don't know what it is. Today at the breakfast table, I've never seen you defeated before in this game. And I feel like Candace was really smart, and I feel like her voting for you is also weird.
The vote thing with Candace, honestly, I just thought it was fucking weird.
To me, looking on the outside, of course,
It's also
I'm
just
biased because
weird
I know I'm
throwaway
faithful,
vote
but it's
and
like,
then Rob.
yes,
It's
just
weird.
Mara. Yeah, so you should analyze it. It's inconsistent, so look at it.
Can I just be a little bit honest? I do feel a little bit blitzed.
A little bit honest, yeah.
And I listened to people in this game today.
Call them out.
I was told something else by some people.
This
Forget
is not time
about
for
some people. It's time to be direct. Your life is on the line. You better fight harder.
You had a theory and we bounced off each other, but now you're very quiet.
Oh, I would be going right at her.
I
Way
would've-
harder.
I'm saying right now, if I were in Natalie's position, Tara Lipinski would have left that roundtable crying. This is actually Rob's worst showing. Even though he made it out alive, what he just said, I wouldn't have even, you should have just stayed quiet. Yeah, I just also thought it was really weird. What?
Well, no, he didn't say it was really weird. He said it was really fucking weird.
Yeah,
and
like-
that's like another tell. If someone all of a sudden out of the blue uses profanity that they don't usually do, it's usually to overcompensate something else.
I don't know how they did not clock this. I don't know how they were not like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Because not all of them are professional, like analysts and psychologists, and understand that stuff.
I would say I can see he's got one over on Tara. He's got one over on Johnny. They're cooked. It's
Mark
just-
and Mara eating out of his hands.
So the only one left to notice any of this is just
Natalie, that's it. And once she's gone, he's free rolling.
To me, this was the most tense roundtable of the season. This is where all the work Rob has put in leading up this episode is finally coming to roost. He has built an army of people who will go tooth and nail for him, who will literally storm out of the castle if he's announced as a traitor, who will lay down on the pool table with their hands behind their heads and gaze up at the stars and muse about what they'll do with all their money when they get out of here. So they can't imagine a world where Rob Roush would ever be a traitor.
Spirits are definitely low after this roundtable. It was
Yes.
pretty dramatic, and Tara's feeling herself. It almost feels like she wants to throw in the towel. We got a clip of it. Let's take a look.
I just don't know,
Guys,
like,
I am totally just gonna be so honest. I feel bad for Natalie because I truthfully didn't believe she talked to me about her.
Look at Johnny. Johnny's like so stoic.
Yeah, but you need to start playing like
I know,
this is
I can't.
It's such a game.
I know, I can't. She looked at me, I opened up, I hugged her.
Then why vote for her?
Because I then all of a
She
sudden
attacked
think
her back.
like I had a
I
no,
know,
but not
people
that.
say
No.
my name all the time.
Rob leaving the room
That's
is
so
a little bit.
How is no one clocking
Suspicious.
any of this? And I got to tell you
Yeah.
right now, I don't think I have that level of empathy. I would probably be like, I'm sorry, Tara. You should feel bad. You abandoned her. She was innocent, and she got banished. You should feel
you would
bad.
say that as a faithful or as a traitor or regardless?
I mean, probably regardless. I mean, if I was a faithful, I'd probably say it because I'm like, we're losing this game, and now I'm convinced that we're not going to win because we don't know who it is. It might be you. Either you're doing the best acting ever, you are just a really, really dangerous faithful when we need faithfuls more than ever. We need faithfuls now more than ever because they are slaughtering us.
See, as a traitor, I love that because like it really does like lean into her. But as a faithful, it's kind of like hard to be so judgmental when you are really not going to know either.
Oh,
You know what I'm
judgment
saying?
is my specialty.
Let me just put something out there. If Johnny and Tara figure out a way to get to the end and eliminate the other faithfuls, and they get to the end with Rob and they say, gotcha, we knew you were a traitor the whole time.
Brilliant.
Then you know what? It's unbelievable. Is that going to happen? I don't know. But for all of these faithfuls to basically say they know who the traitors are and not act on it, it seems too suspicious.
If they did that, that would be next level. No shade. If they did that, you would be dethroned as the best strategist in the history of reality TV shows because this would be the most next level thing. But the truth is, they have lost any social clout because they hid a big secret for 8 episodes, and then she turned her back on Natalie.
For the record, I don't think they're doing that.
But it'd be iconic.
But I'm just saying, if they were, it would be so good.
All right, y'all, we'll be right back. Let's go ahead and get into this turret because Eric and Rob, they either are potential victims. They're looking around at who they've got to. I mean, they have.
Everyone's on the table.
This is a feast. Rob is now being like, "Why were you not talking at the round table?" I think Rob is honestly showing his real self when he snapped at Mark, and then when he looks at Eric, and he's like, "Why were you not saying?"
He's
anything?
like, "Listen, I recruited you to be a good trader. What are you doing? You're gonna get pinched."
Alan comes in, and Alan's like, "Oh, this is too easy. This is too much of a feast. You know what? Pick your victim. We're gonna kill them in front of everybody."
I like it.
And what of it? What do you think about that? And the crazy thing, this shows the difference between Eric and Rob. Because Eric's like, "Oh no," and Rob's like, "Oh yeah." So they go out, and there's a casket in the middle of what looks like some flammable substance around the outside. I'm assuming that this monster Alan is gonna drop a match while a person is in the casket and burn them alive. And I gotta be honest, if I were Rob, I'd be excited to watch it too.
Yeah, why not? He's done his homework. He's done all the work to lead up to it.
It's time to reap what you've been sowing. This is no time for these emotions you're saying you're having. You played Mora. You know you did it. Lean into it.
Who do you think they're gonna put in that casket?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. At this point, in my opinion, the best person to put in the casket is one of the twins. You got to put either Johnny or you got to put Tara because they're going to go in, they're going to have voting power together.
I think now is the time to split them up. Also, he has Mark in his back pocket.
Yeah.
He has Eric, or at least he knows Eric's position. So he can use to turn against them. So he's not getting rid of Eric. And he's got Mora.
She wrapped around his pinky finger.
And then it's done.
We'll find out next week. And we'll be right back in just a minute with the last gamer standing, Natalie Anderson.
Next, a player who knows how to win and how to adapt. She conquered Survivor, but she couldn't outlast the Traitors. Please welcome Natalie Anderson.
What's up? What's up, fellas?
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Listen, getting voted out as a faithful is a special kind of brutal, and we're dying to get your take on the game. I mean, okay, here's a question. Would you rather be murdered or would you rather be banished? Do you think murder would have been better?
No, I think I liked being banished instead of murdered. I got to look at everybody in their face and kind of just say what I needed to say.
You are a special kind of badass. When you looked over at Johnny and said, don't say sorry.
Yeah.
When you picked up that card, I don't want to fucking hear sorry. I was like, oh, she's not playing around. And I actually want to take a moment to look at your response to Johnny about to apologize for ending your game. Let's see it.
Johnny.
Don't say sorry, Johnny. When you put up your card, don't fucking say sorry.
Damn. Woo!
Natalie, I voted for you.
And that bullshit hard.
Oh.
You have received the most votes and are banished from the game.
I mean, have you noticed that he says sorry before freaking voting for every single person? If you want to get rid of somebody, just fucking own it, you know? Like, so It was irking me so bad because working with Tara and Johnny were like working with two kids who were on the playground, who only cared about playing with each other and didn't care about doing the collective good of the faithful work.
You know, like, you and I have a lot of history together playing these games. Like, I know how you think. I want to hit on that moment because it did feel like you almost felt gaslit going into that round table. Like, you felt like they were on your side and you had numbers, right?
100%. As soon as I tried to get people to rally with me and vote against Rob, and because Tara was so confusing, at that point I was like, she's an amazing traitor. She did this to set me up. So at that point, I didn't even know. Like, I went back and forth, and then once Tara like literally tells me, I know you're not a traitor, but I'm voting for you anyway. I'm just
crazy.
Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like,
What's
I was
wild
so
is like in the
frustrated.
beginning of the episode, it almost felt like the idea was Tara's idea.
No, it was her idea. She just left you.
Sometimes when there's like an outcast at the table, everybody's looking at you like, why are you here? Like, that's how I felt. And it was probably the first time ever I've felt like that. I never felt it on Survivor. And everybody's looking at me like, it's you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how I felt at that table. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Forget these faithfuls. They suck. Like, I want, at this point, the traitors to win because we did not do a good job.
Man, that's the worst. No, don't say that because now you're saying like I know what you feel, but it's like, oh, I don't want them because they outplay. Like, I feel you.
They don't deserve it. I'm sorry. The faithfuls.
So you're ready? You're ready to jump?
I'm ready.
There's always these distinct groups when we play these games, right? And in the Traitors Castle, it's like the gamers are like grouped in one group.
Yep.
And you're the last standing gamer. Did you ever actually feel heat as potentially being a traitor, or do they always accept you as a faithful?
No, I think there was something in the back of everybody's minds that there had to be one gamer traitor. I think my antics at the banquet definitely did not help.
Yeah.
But I think that everybody in the back of their mind was like, always thought like I would be an idiot to go to the end with Natalie. Probably similar to you, Rob. Like, there's no way the personalities that we have and the like our resumes, it's impossible for that not to follow us into the castle.
Playing these games as a quote-unquote gamer, there's a reputation, there's a stigma now. You're a gamer, you got to be put in that category. It seems like the correct response as someone that's a gamer would be joined with the other gamers to get rid of everyone else. And it's said every season, but nobody ever does it. Is it because of the history that we have with each other that nobody can trust each other?
I think that one, there's an ego element. Like for me, we all come in thinking we're better, right? I obviously think I'm better than Jam Jam. I think I'm better than Rob and Ian and Tiffany. Like that ego is there in us, and I am. But I also think that there's this level of us knowing that each of us have this ability to flip. Yeah. I never did any game-on-game like murdering or like backstabbing, and I'm proud of that because I think we do have to protect each other just the same way as the housewives do, same way as like the NBC or Bravo or whatever these little cliques are, you know?
Is it harder than what we did on Survivor from a strategy point of view? In your opinion?
Yes, I think there's elements that are way harder because on Survivor, everybody's for themselves. There's no secret power dynamics. On Survivor, everybody knows it's $1 million. Everybody's out to get that $1 million. And that's the bottom line.
I think it just hit me, and I think I just cracked the code. Like right now, as we're talking to each other, I think the reason why the gamers are all targeted is because they have so much history. Where when you come into Survivor, a lot of the players are unknown. It's the first show they played. Like, there has to be a hierarchy, like in RuPaul's Drag Race.
I'm the top.
Okay, so
I'm
so
number
there
one.
you go. There you go. So, like, if there were more RuPaul Drag Race people in the castle with you, they would feel a certain kind of way about you.
You are a great strategist, and you made some really strong like talking points in the SUV when you're going to your mission. I'm watching you all count the numbers. I'm counting the numbers. I'm doing math. I'm adding in the dagger. I'm adding in this. I'm adding in this. I'm like, okay, if they get this on Rob. In fact, let's just take a look at this talking moments in the car. Let's take a look.
It's about numbers.
Johnny and Tara work together, and then that's me, that's 3. It's Mark, and I think if he's not a traitor, I think
Eric
would be open.
I shared Rob's name in confidence with Natalie, trying to gauge her feelings, and now she's running with it.
Is everyone thinking then that it's possibly Natalie and Tara?
I think it's a possibility that Natalie got recruited because Natalie used to always like kind of confide in me and like talk to me, but the last like...
Same.
Rob's smart, setting that up.
Wow, Rob.
Yeah.
I feel like there are people who are playing chess. There are people who are playing checkers, and he's playing like Sink My Battleship. He's playing a whole different game, so it's hard to catch on to him. I have to admit, he's really good at this game.
Yeah. But can I just say, like, Rob, to Rob's point, like, he's coming in blank slate. I didn't know who this dude is. I didn't know he was such a savage. And so I was thinking I could take him to the end and then I could murk him. Instead, it was the other way around. And
it's such an advantage being unknown.
Nobody knew about him. Like, I don't watch bloody Love Island, you know? Like, I had no idea who this kid was. He just seemed so innocent and sweet, and he was good on the challenges, and I actually did bond with him. I would like to think there's some real, like, friendship there.
Coming into this game, right?
Yeah.
What was the game plan? What did you take? You'd seen 3 seasons of Traitors so far, right? Yeah. What was your strategy coming into this?
My initial strategy was just be the muscle. I was kind of like, I could be like CT, where they know there's a risk of having me there, but the motivation to keep me for the challengers would be strong enough to buy me some time to establish relationships. So I showed up at the challenges. So I think that was my initial strategy, just lead with my strength and then really try and make solid relationships and try and earn honest trust with people. I just mated with the wrong people.
If you could relive your final day as a guest in the castle, what do you think you could have done differently to save yourself?
Oh my God, I would have just gone crazy at the round table. I would have just said, this is who it is. You guys can freaking vote for me or be these like sheep getting slaughtered later. Honestly, at that point, there's this element of like fatigue in this game. Like the longer you stay, the more emotionally and like this like you're just tired and it feels like you have to muster up this energy to just fight. I wish I had the energy that day to just be like, fuck it, I'm going all in. If I look like a psycho, I don't care, because this is the only way I'm gonna be able to stay in the game. You know me, Rob, on Extinction, I was there for 39 days and I never felt defeated. I never, for some reason that day, my fire was just, it was just not strong enough for me to fight.
I mean, I think you did phenomenal. It was so fun watching you.
You should be really proud of yourself. And I've always said, just like you, if I'm ever going out, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. I'm going to say everything I was thinking. I'm going to just throw all the spaghetti to the wall, and it's all going to stick. You know what I mean? And you did that. I think that by the time that you walked out of that castle, at least for the instance, Tara and Johnny knew how you felt about them in that moment.
Yeah.
There were no questions.
I'm trying to be proud of my game, but it is really hard because I am so competitive, and once you won a reality TV show, especially something like Survivor, everything else feels like a failure. So,
well, it wasn't a failure.
Yeah.
You were great.
Oh, you were
great
amazing
on the show. You held it down. You were the last competitive reality person standing, and that says something about your ability to navigate, with different people and relationships. And I thought you were great, Natalie.
How long did Sandra last? Did I last longer than her, or are we like the same?
Listen, I don't know. We're not measuring, Natalie. This is not a competitive. How long did this
You're
one? How long
competing
did
with
that
people
one?
you didn't even compete with. This is crazy.
This is not. It's not about time, but the effect you had on others.
True.
But if you had any advice for the faithful still left in the game, what would you tell them?
I would just tell them, just grow some damn balls and like stand up for what you know deep down inside what you have to do. I think the worst thing to be as a faithful is a selfish faithful, because you're not going to win being selfish.
You were a rock star. Like you were great. You were faithful. You weren't sneaky. You weren't conniving. I mean,
I don't care. I wish I would do all those things if I could win. I don't really care.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us, Natalie. And you put up an amazing fight. And the faithful could have learned a thing or two from you. At least how to not say sorry. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Natalie. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's time to talk about the most deadly part of the Traitors, the fashion. For those of you who are listening to the pod but not watching it, you can come see us by checking out our video version on Peacock or YouTube.
Imagine listening and not watching.
Two handsome gentlemen like this, I gotta tell you. And those of you wondering, this week, Rob's wearing a periwinkle suit with rhinestone boots. All right, let's get into our first look, honey. Up first, we have the beautiful Sri Lankan survivor herself, Natalie. I think that's like her signature color. This like maroonish color. This is like her best look for me.
She looked like a tube of lipstick, right? Like the exact color that my mom used to wear, like in the 80s.
Well, your mom's a fashion icon, and so is Natalie. All right, who we got next? Here we have Mark Ballas, who's wearing a black polka dot tie with a clip on it, a white Oxford shirt with roll-up sleeves, and a pair of big old Gen Z baggy pants.
I like Mark. I think he's a good dude. I feel like this is his outfit he's been wearing the whole time. Like, is this the only thing he brought?
This is kind of his go-to look.
It's it. He got one outfit.
And I know the guy with the backwards baseball cap is not talking about repeating outfits. That's crazy. It's called branding, Rob. It's called branding.
I like it, Mark. Mark, you're branded well.
Up next, we have Maura. She's wearing like a two-piece, it's very Swifty. Y'all remember when Taylor Swift was always wearing those two-piece gowns? It's like a mid-drift vest. It's like it's tweed with these big black buttons and a long maxi skirt with a big kind of hem at the bottom.
I like her fashion sense because I feel like I always say that. Like, I like what she's wearing.
Yeah, no, she looks good. Now I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Now we're looking at Lil Abner. That's a very specific reference. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. We're looking at, obviously, the most treacherous traitor to ever play the game, Rob Roush. He's got on his Farmer in the Dale outfit. He's wearing like a plaid shirt. He's got the one titty out with a bib flipped down and a pair of cowboy boots tucked in. That's where the fashion comes in.
There was a group like in the 90s called Crisscross.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like he's channeling his inner Crisscross. I mean, Rob's a great trader, and I really enjoy watching him, but looking at him is something else.
This is Hollywood does country. You're not about to trick you into believing you milk cows in this Givenchy pair of overalls.
What I don't understand is he's from Alabama, right? Like, how does he go back to Alabama and face his friends wearing this?
If it makes you feel any better, I'm also from Alabama.
My goodness! I stand corrected!
And what I'm wearing is way crazier than what he's wearing when I go to Alabama. Shout out to Phoenix City. Y'all know who you are. Johnny Weir is
tuxedo.
It's like a tailcoat tuxedo with like a pussy bow.
Tell me the origin of that.
I want us to not get demonetized.
No, I'm just saying because my kids are watching this. They are at home, and I have to explain to them.
I don't know why they call it a pussy bow. I've never looked up the etymology of why they call it a pussy bow, but it is called a pussy bow. And he's wearing like a chain. I thought it was a purse, but it's like a giant necklace that goes over the arm, under the hip. To me, he looks kind of like a butler. I don't think I like this look.
I think channeling like a little bit, I feel like he's dressed as a purse, right? And then the string around is like the hand of the purse.
He does kind of like a purse. And we're going to top it off with the host with the most. We have Alan Cumming, another pussy bow. Trend alert, pussy bows are in. It's like this looks like maybe a taffeta or silk top with some sheer sleeves, and all of it is mint green. I mean, this is not my favorite. He's worn crazier stuff. This is probably one of the calmest things Alan has worn in the history of the show, actually.
I think like the chocolate candy with the green in the middle. That's what it's reminded me of.
And how does he go back to the Highlands of Scotland wearing this?
I don't have a clue. I mean, Fergus would not approve.
He looks great, though. Shout out to Alan. Of all these looks, which one is your favorite?
Oh, I hate to say it again. You know what I'm going to say, right?
Actually, I agree with you this time. 1, 2, 3.
Mara.
Yeah, Mara looks the best episode. She looks so good. That beret, the way her hair is, it's like that big fluffy bob, like a big thick bob. Watch your mouth. Don't you call me a big thick bob. I know what you were thinking at home. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. So, Mara, you get our top Fashion Traitorous Award of the week.
I feel like we've said her name a lot this season.
She is.
So,
she looks
give
good.
it to her.
Yeah. All right. Listen, next week is the finale, so the stakes have never been higher. I cannot wait to watch it. But for now, I want to talk about our final thoughts. I have a prediction.
Yes.
I think that Tara's getting murdered.
Okay.
I think that they're all going to clock Eric. Eric's going to be put out, and they're going to be like, girl, we got it. I feel good about this group. And then Rob is going to gag everyone.
Yeah, I like that theory. I think at this point it's definitely Rob's game to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the smartest play, and I think he'll figure it out, is to separate Johnny and Tara.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the most important. Separate them now, and then there's a lot of different ways it can go.
The only other outcome I can think of is maybe they get both Eric and Johnny out, and then Rob is left with his literal two sycophant legionnaires, and then just gags them to smithereens. What would be your strategy going into the finale if you were a faithful?
If I was a faithful at this point, I need to get other faithful around me and, go down to it and try to get Rob out. Like isolate Rob.
Yeah. If Eric and Rob somehow pull this off, it will be the craziest thing, because basically everyone in the castle except, well, actually not everyone, because he's still got Mora. I think that Mark could flip. Johnny is on to both of them.
Mark's not flipping. Mark's flipping on who?
On Rob? I think he could be convinced.
No.
Before Mora.
No. If anything, Mark's going to be gunning for Eric.
Yeah. Eric has the toughest road, and then I would say
Johnny and Tara. Is there any chance they're killing Mark or Mora right now before Johnny?
That would be the most brutal thing in the world. But no, splitting up the Wonder Twins is the best option right now. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to join us right here after the finale for our final secret bonus episode. That's right, we're not done with you. Come join us in the turret.
Make sure you watch the season finale of The Traitors only on Peacock next Thursday.
And also, please do not forget to find us on all social media at The Traitors US everywhere. Bye-bye. You didn't die.